Mike, you want to come up real quick? Grassi. Hello, my name is Michael Grassi, and I am a candidate as a Republican in District 58, North Province, Pawtucket, and I had the honor of formally announcing my candidacy at the 10th Amendment rally on Saturday with my good friends that are here tonight. I'd like to thank everyone that was there with me on Saturday. But what the purpose is tonight is for me to inform you a little about me. Everybody saw the Angry American speech, I like to call it, because I am angry at what's going on out there. And that's why I'm running for political office. I've sat on the sidelines for almost 20 years as a small business owner and a member of the community, and I said, you know what? It's time for change, and we want real change. Because the one motto I have, and I'm going to thank Colleen for my famous line, we are taxed enough already, and you're going to hear more about that later on in my little speech. But I'm going to tell everybody a little about me. I've been married 12 years, I have a beautiful wife at home, 2 beautiful children, and that's the main reason I'm running for office, is to leave a better life for our children. The other thing, I agree with everybody in the room, we need term limits in this state. Because you're not going to see me doing this 10 years from now, because my kids are 3 and 2, and I'm going to enjoy their teenage years with them as a father. Because we have far too many legislators up there at 20, 25 years. I'm actually running against one of them. So I'm looking forward to, he's been there 10 years. I'm right unopposed for 10 years. And rumor has it, he might be running a little scared this week. Looks like he's trying to raise some union money to a fundraiser. So I'm going to poke a little fun at that later in the speech. But I'm a lifelong Rhode Islander. I'm native of this state. I went to college here at Johnson & Wales. I grew up in Warwick. And I decided to park my roots in North Providence in 1996. Lived in Pawtucket for 12 years and moved back into North Providence a year ago in November of 08, because I wanted to give my kids a better life and put them in one of the best school systems in Rhode Island and do it legally. So I bought property in the town where I will be residing to do it the right way. And yes, I know I paid probably the 2nd highest property taxes in the state to do that, but I'm honored to do that. For one reason, because I'm giving my kids the life that they deserve. But secondly, I hold numerous college degrees. I have an associate's in business administration. I have a bachelor's in business management and education. I have a master's in business education, public school administration. And when I decided to make a career change in 2000 into the financial planning field, I went back and got a 3rd bachelor's in finance to become credible in the industry. Because I believe we need to be credible in our fields and be well educated. In 2006, I completed my doctorate in business administration and organizational leadership. Something our General Assembly is completely lacking is organizational leadership. And that is one thing I will bring to the General Assembly, is organization, because they need structure up there to stop the spending, stop the taxes. But in addition to that, I'm a conservative Republican. I made the jump into the Republican Party a couple of years ago after disaffiliating for a few years because of what goes on. And unfortunately, I grew up in the Rhode Island mentality that there was only one party. And boy, when I grew up, I realized I really wanted to be a Republican when I grew up, and I know the values of being a Republican. Now, I currently own an insurance and financial planning firm. I am a small business owner that employs 25 people in the state of Rhode Island. I know what it's like to make that payroll. I know what it's like to write that quarterly inventory tax check today. I know what it's like to write that payroll tax check to the state of Rhode Island and pay these unforeseen, in my opinion, criminally related taxes that we keep paying as business owners. And the one thing that I will go on a little later on in my platform about is the corporate tax and the corporate filing fee that needs to go in this state. Because I wrote checks for $1,000 today. In my opinion, where did it go? Is there a garbage can in the room? Because that's exactly where $1,000 I wrote out went this afternoon. Because I'd like to know whose pocket it actually is going to end up in. But a little bit about my personal involvement. I know what it's like to run a large organization. I'm the past president international of the Johnson & Wales University Alumni Association of 75,000 alums. So I know what it's like to run a 70,000 person organization with a minimal budget. And that's what we need to do. My slogan for my campaign is simple: restore honest, ethical integrity in a voice that represents the citizens of Rhode Island and the citizens of my district in District 58. to fix the state of Rhode Island. No more tax increases, and yes, I will sign Jeff's pledge. Because the only tax increase you will see out of me is taxing those pension checks that are going down to Florida right now. Because we need the money back in Rhode Island to pay our own bills. Secondly, we are taxed enough, secondly to that, we are taxed enough already. We are the second highest tax burden in the United States of America. And we're looking at a Moody's downgrade because we can't tax anymore to get the money in this state. And tonight, about the Moody's downgrade, I was able to look up a little bit of research on that, and I'll add that to my campaign. Thank you very much about that. Secondly, small business tax reform. Eliminate the corporate tax fees. Eliminate the corporate filing fee. But my favorite one, use the gas tax for what it's meant for. They're looking for $3 billion for roads. We have the highest gas tax in the United States. It's supposed to be used to improve our roadways. It's not being used. How many people realize the lottery was supposed to be used to fund our educational needs in the gambling in Twin River? I guess we must have missed the vote on that one. Because the General Assembly since 1986 has not used the lottery monies to fund education, and the only thing that keeps going up is our property taxes on the education side of the line. That needs to change. And those are bills that will champion the General Assembly to get business back into this state. Because as a small business owner, I've worked for big and small business in my career. I've watched big business go out and be almost out of a job. When Quick and Riley pulled up stakes, sold to Fleet, and then Fleet sold to Bank of America, and 1,000 jobs walked out the door at each merger. I watched that happen right under my eyes. And the reason they pulled out of Rhode Island, they couldn't afford to pay for it. Because they couldn't afford the taxation anymore in the state. Now, create a competitive healthcare system. As you heard me speak earlier, I'm in the industry. I'm not going to say I'm biased about, but we need competition in this state. We also need a competition in the single-person healthcare market. We have an unconstitutional monopoly we're being taxed on right now called Blue Cross Direct Pay for those people who cannot get health insurance any other way. That needs to change. There's a policy right on the line in Connecticut by United Healthcare called Golden Rule that Chris Cole, our insurance commissioner, blew out of Rhode Island because of the people who made him health insurance commissioner won't let them talk about it. And Golden Rule is very competitive. Trust me, it's more competitive than Blue Cross because I actually sell it in Connecticut. And I can tell you, when you walk into healthcare in Mass or Connecticut and sell it, you have 10 companies within 10% of the premium. You get a choice. And right now, we don't have a choice. We got to pick between 2 premiums that are equal and 2 health coverages regulated by a General Assembly. That needs to stop now. My fourth and final component of my campaign is education reform. And I'm going to address the situation tonight that happened on Projo on Sunday after my announcement. And I normally wouldn't do this, but due to the nature of the campaign, I'm going to. Yes, my wife is a school teacher, but I truly believe in education reform. I believe in charter schools. My wife's a school teacher, and I'll tell you what, I think the unions need to realize something in this state. They need to have fair, equitable contracts, yes, and they need to realize that pension reform is necessary to balance our state budget. And I will help Dawson on the Senate side of the line, being in the financial sector, show them how it's done. Because the biggest piece of that is we need 3 things. New employees need to go into a defined contribution plan called a 403B plan under the federal government code. Now, the 3 components to make that plan work for the state of Rhode Island: age-based scale for contributions and matching. Every one of us goes into our 401ks, we go in, we get an age-based sliding scale when we get matched. Just like corporate America. It'll save the state millions right there. And the current plan. See you later. That's it. Cut it off. Those who are in it now, that are vested, either take their contributions and put it into your 403B or use the current plan for those that are retired, that are vested, anybody under 10 years, put them in the new plan. Because that will save the state approximately $2 billion of the unfunded liability of those who are not vested in the plan today.